Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. Um, the coffee is flowing. I'm getting there. Um, there's a storm last night, and these pups get so scared that we have to let them in the room, or else they'll scratch the doors down. And so they kept me up all night. I've told you guys this before. I'm here. I'm ready to teach. Just a little tired, but today's our last lesson of the week. Guys, we only have 3 lessons a week. This has got to be kind of nice. Okay? Plus, you get to rewatch these. You can never get enough of Mr. Johnson. Right? Today, we're going to do box plots. Now, box plots tend to be a little bit more difficult because it has to do with the quartile stuff that we learned about measures of variation. Uh, that tends to be one of the little bit more difficult lessons. So if you guys are struggling with quartiles 1 and 3, when we were doing them before, here's your opportunity to get a little bit more practice in with them. Okay. Now I promise these box plots aren't too bad. We got several examples I'm gonna do today. Hopefully it turns out pretty good for you. And again, please rewatch it, pause it, solve some problems with me. Okay. A box plot looks like this right here. What it does is it takes data that we have, so like a set of numbers like we have down here, and it takes it and it shows us, breaks it up into 4 parts. The lower 25%, the next 25%, the next 25%, and then the top 25%. One, two, three, and four. Breaks the data up into 4 parts. That's all it does. And this is a fancy, weird way of showing it, right? You've got a line for the first 25%, a box for this middle, a box for this middle, and a line for the upper part, the upper 25%. That's all it is. That's what a box plot is. It just takes all your data, splits it into 4 parts. 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. Remember, we talked about quartiles. Quartile has that prefix quart, which means 4, right? 25%. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our first example down here where we've got a set of data. It's drawn out like this. What you need to do, hopefully you remember, is take that data and put it in order from least to greatest. So we go and we find the lowest number here, which seems to be 19. And then I think 20. I'm going to try to go quickly here. 20, then 22. 20, 22, 23, 25, 25, 3, 25, 25, 27, 30, 34, 35, and it looks like the biggest number here is 40. So it doesn't look like we have any outliers or anything crazy like that. But I got my numbers in order from least to greatest. Now this is all you have to do. Once you have your numbers in order from least to greatest, we need to find 5 things. 5. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 of those things, I think, are pretty easy. The first one, you need to find the lowest number. That's it. The lowest number. The lowest number here, 19. There's the first thing I want to find. That's called the minimum. Then you need to find the biggest number. That's not an outlier, right? It's for the minimum and maximum. We're going to use outliers. If there's an outlier, we're not going to worry about it, right? We're going to let it just be off on its own. Kind of like up here, you see how let's say 330 is an outlier in this set of data. So they just didn't even include it. They just kept their box down here and used the minimum, maximum there for those. Okay. So none of these are outliers. So our minimum is 19. Our maximum is 40. There's 2 of the 5 things we need to find. The next thing we need to find is the median, which again, another thing I think we're pretty good at finding. That middle number, right? So if we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers, that's a good thing. If there's an odd number of numbers, and that means there is going to be a direct middle number, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in here. That's going to be 25. So our median is 25. All these have been pretty easy to find. Now the quartile 1 and quartile 3 are the ones where we've struggled a little bit. That just means if this is the median, minimum, maximum, quartile 1 is the median of the first half of numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 numbers here in the median. All right, so it's going to be right in between 22 and 23, which will be 22.5, I believe. Is that what they put on theirs? They're going to say it is 22 because they're not going to count 25. So we're going to say 22 is our median of the middle numbers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers in the first half. So 22 is going to be our quartile 1, 22. And then if we look at the top half of numbers, I'm not counting 25 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the middle number up here is going to be 34. That's going to be Q3. And that's it. Those 5 numbers are what we're looking for. That's all you have to find today. I promise that's going to be the most difficult part of today's work, is finding those 5 numbers. Minimum, smallest number, maximum, biggest number, median, middle number, and then the middle number of the first half and the middle number of the second half. You've got 5 points of data. That's all you need. Now, when you take those 5 points of data, this is what we're trying to make down here. You take each of those numbers and you put a dot above it. So there's 19, you put a dot above 19 right here. The 40, the maximum what we found, you put a dot above the 40. You put a dot above 22 for the quartile 1. You put a dot above 25 for the median, and a dot above 34 for Q3. Now after you have those 5 dots down, you draw a line in from the outside 2, and then you make this box on the inside 3 and then a line through the middle. That's a box plot that shows you 25% of your data here, 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 and here, for a total of all of it. That's it. It's a box plot. Okay? And then you can answer questions about it. Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. So let's go to the next page. I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to practice one on your own, and that will be at the top of page 881. Or you can just do this on your a blank sheet of paper. Go ahead and try that one out on your own. Try and find the minimum, maximum, median, and then Q1, Q3. So you need those 5 numbers, and then see if you can make that box plot on this line over here. Okay, so pause the video, try it out. And we're back. So this is what we're going to do. Take this set of data in order from least to greatest. So it looks like the lowest numbers we got up here are 15. So there's 2 of them. So we got 15 and 15. And I got a 17 and an 18. Looks like I've got a 20 and a 20. 22. 25. 27. 30 and 30. Got them. Okay. After that, let's find the minimum and maximum. So I'm just going to write those over here. I'm going to write minimum, Q1, all these numbers that I need, median, Q3, and maximum. I'm going to write those numbers up here when I find them. The minimum, 15. The maximum, 30. The median, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers again. Sweet. There's going to be a direct middle one. Looks like this number is going to be directly in the middle. 20. Median is 20. Right, and I can do that by counting it on both sides too, like this. If I get to the middle, there it is, 20. Now Q1 and Q3, the first half of numbers here, the middle number of the first half, 1, 2, 3, 4, these 5 numbers of the first half. The middle number there is 17, so that's Q1. And then the middle number of the second half there, between these 5 numbers, is 27. There's your 5 numbers. That's it. That's all you had to find. Now, once you have those 5 numbers, now we're going to make the graph. Okay, so we have to first label this. This graph is going to go from, let's see here, we've got 5, 10, 15 spaces. That's okay because it goes from 15 to 30, the minimum and maximum, so we can just go 15, 20, 25, 30, just to label the number line. Okay, now we got to put the dots on there. We need a dot at 15. Right there. We need a dot at 17. right there, a dot at 20, right there, a dot at 27, all the way up here, and then a dot at 30, right there. Cool, 5 dots on there. Now we got to make the box plot. This is what I would do. The bottom 2 dots, or the outside 2 dots, connect them like that. Then you draw a box for those dots, and then a line down through the median, just like that. And there's your box plot. Hopefully you guys got that one correct. If not, try it again. Maybe look back at how I did it, try and figure out what you got wrong. Remember, we take a responsibility for ourselves around here. Right? Find out why you made that mistake. If you don't address that, then you're not going to get better. So, we can start answering questions about these box plots now. Okay? So if we look down here below the example that we just did, we've got a question here about the example I showed you earlier, the one about the car speed data here. Okay? This question right here says half of the drivers were driving faster than what speed? Half of the drivers were driving faster than what speed? And we can look at the example down here and find out half of the drivers is the median, right? That's directly through the middle, so that's the line in the middle of the box plot. That's half the drivers. And if it says half the drivers are driving faster than what speed, that's the speed they're driving faster than. What speed is that? 25. So to answer that question, the answer would be 25 miles per hour, right? And then the next question asks, what does the box plot's length tell about the data? Well, it says that the people that are driving slower are all driving in these speeds that are really close together, between 19 and 25 miles an hour. But the people that are driving faster, if you look over here, people are driving between 25 and 40 miles an hour. People are driving a lot bigger difference of speeds when they're at higher speeds, right? So we're just looking at this information, trying to discuss or decide or tell some things about it, right? And really the only things we know, we don't know much about it, which is kind of nice because they can't ask us too crazy questions, is there's 25% of the data here, 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 and here. That's about it. So let's take a look at a couple more examples real quick. I don't want to make this too long, so we're going to move quick. The bottom here says to find the median and measures of variability. So if you could tell me what's the median of this set of data, what's the minimum, maximum, what's Q1 and Q3, all you have to know is this is the minimum, and in this case, probably 56. This is the maximum, in this case 90. The median looks to be right between 70 and 75, which would be 72.5. The Q1 is 65 and Q3 is 80. On the next page, page 882, at the top of the page there, I want you guys to try to tell me what the median and the other measures of variability are. Why don't you guys tell me what the minimum is? Why don't you tell me what Q1 is, the median, Q3, and the maximum? What are those 5 numbers based on this graph right here? Go ahead and pause the video, write down those 5 numbers, and then start it back up and see if you're right. All right, here we go. The minimum, 1. The maximum, the biggest number, 13. The median, the middle number, looks to be right between 8 and 9. That's 8.5. Now, Q1 is the front of the box, which is between 5 and 6, which seems to be 5.5. And Q3, which is the other end of the box, which looks to be right above 11. There's your 5 numbers. We've got the minimum 1, Q1 5.5, medium 8.5, Q3 11, and the max is 13. Let's go to the independent practice. I'm going to do one more box plot with you guys as an example. And then I'm going to leave you guys some questions to answer on your own, okay? So we're going to do number 1 together here. What I want you guys to do is take number 1, find those 5 points of data, graph them on that number line, okay, in a box plot. Go ahead, pause the video, do that yourself right now, and then let's see if you got it right. Okay, here we go. Take this set of data, put it in order, least to greatest. That's how we like to view all of our data. Looks like the lowest number I have here is 50 or 35. I got a 35, then a 55, then a 61, then a 65. Getting them down, make sure I don't miss any. 74, 88, 92, 96, 97, 99, 100. Looks like our data goes from 35 all the way up to 100. Now, some people might argue Mr. Johnson 35 is an outlier, it's too low. Not necessarily. I don't think it's too far away from like these other numbers. We can see when we graph it though. Um, let's see, 35, 55, 61, 65, 74. It's kind of an outlier. Let's go ahead and do that for this example here. Let's just say that's an outlier. And we'll put a little star here for 35, and we'll cross it off, and we'll use the rest of these numbers to show our data. So, and if you included 35 on this, that's okay. We'll see if you created it right anyway, your way with the 35 included. We'll start here with our minimum of 55 and our maximum of 50. Or I'm sorry, excuse me, 100. So our minimum 55, I'll put my dot here. My maximum 100, I'll put my dot here. My median is going to be the middle of those numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's going to be the middle of 88 and 92. Cool. But the right in between 88 and 92 is 90. So I'll put my dot right there for my median. And then my Q1 is going to be in the middle of that, which would be 65. And then my Q3 would be the middle of the last 5 numbers, should be 97. Should be right there. And then we make our whiskers. They're called whiskers. Don't make fun of me. And our box plot looks like that. And 35, definitely an outlier there. If you didn't include that as an outlier, then your graph would just be shifted a little bit to this side, and the line would go all the way to 35. But this is probably most appropriate. That's going to do it for the box plots today. Hopefully it's not too bad. Again, guys, 5 numbers. If you got questions, let me know. Please use this video as a resource. Rewind it. Go back. And I'm going to put your questions up on the Google Forms. Just watch the video. Go to Google Forms. Do those questions. Do these questions here. And then make sure you hit mark as done. Peace out.